Life must prevail in Gaza. Must prevail in Gaza. Freedom must prevail in Palestine. For 6 months now, every single Palestinian in Gaza has endured untold suffering, loss, pain, and tragedy. This must stop now.
Hello everyone, welcome back to My Left Eye. The UN Security Council today voted for a ceasefire in Palestine during the festival of Ramadan in a historic vote. The United States abstained on the resolution, having vetoed the 3 previous votes. This is the first time that the US has defied Israel, and when the motion was passed there followed a huge round of applause in the chamber. The last time such a response happened was in 2003 after an impassioned speech about the occupation of Iraq. The United States position has certainly triggered Benjamin Netanyahu, who's cancelled plans for delegates from Israel to visit America for talks later this week. He certainly seems to be throwing his toys out of the pram now he's not getting his own way. The representative from the UK also called for further progress to be made on a lasting ceasefire and criticised the lack of aid getting through to the 1.5 million people currently trapped in Gaza. More on that shortly, but first let's look how the voting went.
Draft resolution contained in document S/2024/254. Please raise their hand. Those against? Abstention. The result of the voting is as follows: 14 votes in favor, 0 vote against, 1 abstention. The draft resolution has been adopted as Resolution 2728, 2024.
We salute Arab unity in demanding immediate ceasefire and prevailed. This must be a turning point. This must lead to saving lives on the ground. This must signal the end of this assault of atrocities against our people. A nation is being murdered. A nation is being dispossessed. A nation is being displaced for decades now, but never at this scale since the Nakba. Never this openly, from Tantura to Gaza, from 1948 to 2024, we have endured. We have survived. We have resurrected only to face death once again. Life must prevail in Gaza. Must prevail in Gaza. Freedom must prevail in Palestine. For 6 months now, every single Palestinian in Gaza has endured untold suffering, loss, pain, and tragedy. This must stop now.
So here's just a summary of the finer points. The resolution was approved by 14 of the 15 UN Security Council members. It was passed after the US abstained instead of vetoing. Immediately after the measure was announced, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu cancelled an Israeli delegation's visit to the White House this week, accusing the US of a position shift. White House spokesman John Kirby insisted it didn't show a shift in policy. He added the US was very disappointed with Israel cancelling its trip, but will continue to hold talks with its ally. Riyad Mansour, the Palestinian representative to the United Nations, said it had taken over 100,000 Palestinians killed and maimed for this council to finally demand an immediate ceasefire, and that it was a vote for humanity to prevail. He also added the Palestinians in Gaza pleaded and appealed, shouted, cried, cursed, prayed, defied the odds to survive time and time again, and yet continued to face death, destruction and displacement, deprivation and disease, and an occupation-made famine. Their ordeal must come to an end, and it must come to an immediate end now. UN Security Council Resolution 2728 comes after almost 6 months of fighting in the Gaza Strip. The Israeli military launched a full-scale retaliation to Hamas's attack on October the 7th, with its operation killing more than 32,300 Palestinians and injuring more than 74,600 others, according to the Hamas-run Health Ministry's data, which the World Health Organization regards as credible. Last week, the United Nations-backed Food Security Assessment warned that 1.1 million people in Gaza were struggling with catastrophic hunger and starvation. Meanwhile, US-backed mediation by Qatar and Egypt has so far failed to secure agreement on a ceasefire, but talks continue. This is what Barbara Woodward, who's the UK representative at the UN, had to say about the vote.
A humanitarian catastrophe is unfolding before our eyes. The resolution sends a clear and united message on the need for international humanitarian law to be upheld and for aid to be scaled up urgently, including the lifting of all barriers impeding its delivery. President, the UK Foreign Secretary and Prime Minister have reiterated these messages in our contacts with Prime Minister Netanyahu and other senior Israeli political leaders in recent weeks. We call for this resolution to be implemented immediately. President, we need to focus on how we chart the way from an immediate humanitarian pause to a lasting, sustainable peace without a return to fighting. That means the formation of a new Palestinian government for the West Bank and Gaza, accompanied by an international support package. Removing Hamas capacity to launch attacks against Israel. Hamas no longer being in charge of Gaza. And a political horizon which provides a credible and irreversible pathway towards a two-state solution of Israel and Palestine living side by side in security and peace.
So this is certainly refreshing to see the United States not just toeing the Israeli line in this historic vote that took place today, refusing to veto the motion as they had done so previously. I really do hope that this can lead to a permanent ceasefire and an end to the occupation in Gaza so that the 1.5 million people trapped in the south in Rafah can return home, those who still have homes. Tragically, so many people have lost their dwellings in the last few months. It's hard to say when people do return to the central and northern areas of Palestine whether they will even have a home to go to. Benjamin Netanyahu has also said that he will continue with his planned assault on Rafah with or without US support. However, the political pressure to create a more permanent ceasefire certainly seems to be mounting against the Israelis at the moment. Let us know what you think in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. Please hit the subscribe and thumbs up buttons to help us out on the algorithm. We've also now got the membership program open with some great perks for you to enjoy starting from just 99p. Hit the join button or follow the links in the channel description. If you'd like to make a one-off contribution, then please hit super thanks on the video or follow the link to our Buy Me a Coffee page where you can help to show solidarity and support the channel for just the price of a tasty hot beverage. All contributions are greatly appreciated. Thanks again everyone. My Left Eye, be seeing you soon.